Thank you for staying with us and welcome back. We're looking at the proposed social media law from the Senate of the Nigerian National Assembly. And we have joining us here legal practitioner, Dr. Okwe. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
What was your take when you first heard about this?
Actually, I was outraged. I'll be very honest with you. And I was actually shocked that this thing got to the second reading before someone like me will know about it. It's obvious they're trying to smuggle this into law. And I felt that at this time of change in Nigeria, that is the last thing this government should be thinking about, because that is the voice of the masses. The social media is the only place the masses can have their say. I understand there's a lot of excesses out there, but it's par for the cause. And I'm extremely disappointed. I'm extremely shocked that an APC-led government will allow this travesty to go on. I'm one of the biggest supporters of President Buhari personally, and that's why I keep saying I support Buhari. I don't support APC because of this kind of thing. All right, well, we have a party that rode on the back of the masses trying to smuggle in a law, and I'm seeing a Dino Melaye coming out supporting it. I'm seeing a Nahala there. I'm seeing a Senator Biodun from Olujimi from Ekiti State coming out and supporting a measure that is akin to Decree 2. Because for me, it's just outrage. And thank God this thing came out at the second reading. All of us are aware of it now. And I feel any well-meaning Nigerian should understand the implications of what is about to happen. All right? In every civil society, there's always excess. In America, there is. In London, in the UK, they actually have a park that they reserve for you to come and talk whatever rubbish you want against the government. They don't arrest you, do whatever you want to say about it. It is from rumor that truth will come out. So, and I'm not saying it is right for people to just malign people. I'm not saying that. But we have civil laws for that. If somebody defames you on social media, you can sue them. All right? So why do you want to criminalize thoughts and opinions in Nigeria that is talking change, sir?
If the reaction, because yours is not just the only reaction that has come up since this matter came out of the chamber, but is it a question of misunderstanding what the senators had in mind when they were proposing that bill?
It was not a question of misunderstanding. It was an underhanded attempt to foster something on Nigerians that nobody is going to have an opportunity to speak about. When you are going to pass a law like this, there's supposed to be very public hearings that are announced far in advance for people to submit papers and what have you. But they've got into second reading. Before you had Akpabio saying, I don't know anything about this. You had Senator Ben Bruce saying, I'm not even aware of this law. And it has passed second reading. So somebody's trying to smuggle something. And this is so fundamental because we are talking about protection of the freedom of speech, freedom of thought, and freedom of expression in Nigeria, which is what really holds the whole government together. And in that kind of thing, there's going to be excess. If you don't like people talking negative about you, don't run for public office. By opening yourself up to the public, you make yourself fair game. All right? And rather than them fighting or trying to muzzle social media, they should go learn how to defend themselves on social media. And these senators that were paying hundreds of millions a year, somebody tried to organize a training for them on social media. You know what some of them said? They were quoted saying, I don't need anybody to teach me how to post updates on social media. They don't want to learn how to operate in the new marketplace. It's social media. It's a whole different way of defending yourself out there. When somebody defames you on newspaper, you can sue them, you can write letters to them. On social media, it's a different way of approach, and you need to learn that.
Well, we're hoping that Senator Dino Melaye will join us in the course of the
program. I want him on.
It's
a big disappointment to Nigerians.
Hold on, but
I was going to ask you to elaborate on how exactly this bill will infringe on the Freedom of Information Act that Nigerians fought so long to get.
Well, the Freedom of Information Act is actually very different from this because Freedom of Information Act is basically for your own right to get information from government. Okay, you need information that a government has, you write to them and they supply the information. I've exercised that right several times. Some have been good, some have been bad, but at least that law is being followed to a large extent, okay? But this is a very different. What this is that if you publish a report, let's say you put something on your Facebook page, and I shared it on my page, and that report turned out to be false, they're saying they can send me to jail for 2 years, or they can fine me 4 million naira. That is a travesty.
But let me just read out that portion that you came up with, because there are portions the law is broken into several segments.
And by the
There's
way, where
one-
did you get that? They refused to give me. I sent people to Nala's office. The senators said he
There's-
cannot find copies in his office.
There's a portion that has to do with social media. There's a portion that has to do with
Yes.
petitions.
Yes.
Now, let's look at the social media since that's the one you just raised now.
Yes.
When any person through text message, tweets, WhatsApp, or through any social media post, any abusive statement, knowing same to be false with intent to set the public against any person and group of persons, an institution of government or such or other bodies established by law shall be guilty of an offense and upon conviction shall be liable to 2-year jail term or 2 million naira fine.
Okay.
Now, I said with the intent to set the public against any person or a group of persons. Is that not worthy of regulation?
No, because it is stupid. How do you measure a man's intent? That is, in other words, you want to start regulating thought. How do you know what I'm thinking? Based on what I said, with intent. That means I can, if I share a post on my wall, because Dino Milai now knows I don't like him anymore. I used to like that guy. I don't like him anymore. Now he's going to say, I have the intent to incite people against him. You cannot read into my thoughts. All right, that's what I'm saying. That is where Decree 2 type of thing comes in. All right, they just come out. Everybody will say it's okay now, it's excesses we're trying to protect. But come 3 years from now, assuming God forbid that Buhari is not performing and all of us go after him, you know what is going to happen? They're going to start arresting us. All right, and that is the danger, is what I'm saying. When you start, and you can see how wordy and how subjective the interpretation can be. Something that turns out to be false.
It took 2 weeks, 2 short weeks for this bill to get to second reading.
Actually,
and
1 week, 24th and 2nd. That's 7 days.
some other bills that Nigeria think are very important to them have not enjoyed
Thank you.
such urgency. Are you suggesting that perhaps the lawmakers are trying to pass this bill into law to cover up some of their wrongdoings?
Of course they are. I actually would like to rechristen this bill, the Sahara Reporters bill. Is Sahara Reporters the one to go after? Dino Melai actually got up and said that as a point of order, mentioned Sahara Reporters by name. All right, so this is a Sahara Reporters Muslim bill. And it is sad because these same people that are in the government, the Dino Melais, a lot of all those APC people, Sahara Reporters was indirectly responsible for them winning elections because they did a lot of exposés on the Jonathan government. Now they are feeling the heat. Saraki is facing the heat from like 5-6 different angles. And then and you can see the people supporting this bill are his cohorts, all this Naala, all this Dino Melai, who is his lap boy. They are the ones supporting this bill. So they know it's basically more like a personal thing. They want to protect themselves from us exposing them. You see Dino Melai holding up a crystal wine and boasting about it in picture in his house, showing us all this private stuff. This is a man that is supposed to be fighting for the masses. They didn't like that. And rather than getting their own new media that they pay a lot of money on to go learn how to defend and fight for your man on social media, they want to muzzle the thought and the thinking of people. So, and the fact that it has taken only 7 days to get to second reading, when bills on employment have been there for years, when we have the petroleum bill that has been there for years, this do nothing good Senate, they've been there for 6 months, they've not passed any reasonable law, and the first law they want to really fight about is social media, Muslim law. I think it just rubs me the wrong way. I'm a very big supporter of the change government. I spend my money, my time, I'm not a politician, my energy, and I'm absolutely outraged that they will even be thinking about this. They spent 6 months fighting about positions. Who's going to be president? Who's going to be vice president? Who's going to be all this? They've spent months allocating money to themselves. They've not passed one single bill that will help Nigerians. And then in 7 days, they have done 2 readings of a bill that will hold Nigerians prisoners of their conscience. That's the way I see it. And it's Sahara Reporters, and they can't even get Sahara Reporters. They are not based in Nigeria. Do they think America will listen to them? Dino must be smoking something.
If you don't mind, we could just slow down on
yeah,
the
I'm
names.
just so upset, yes.
Just slow down on the names here.
Yes. But they have names, they have already stood up.
Let's be cautious here.
Okay.
But then, staying with that matter, we know that a lot of those, you said it here, a lot of those who are in the Senate and indeed in the legislature and politicians now rode on the tide of the social media, or the strength of the social media.
That is correct.
So why would you think that they would want to kill that which empowered them?
Because it is always easy when you're on the outside criticizing the man on the hot seat. When you get on the hot seat, you don't want, it's like this year, Yoruba, they say that the stick that they used to flog the first wife is waiting for the second wife they just married. The same way. So when they were outside, they're trying to get this power, they were willing to mobilize forces, and one of these senators, you have said I should not be mentioning him, but he was very strong on social media, had millions of followers who are trying to help him get rid of the Jonathan government. Now they are in place, and they are facing the heat. I don't know what they imagine, that when they get in, we will now say because we are their friends, to get them in, we will not talk about their own excesses. So I'm sure they are shocked at what is happening.
If we could just take a moment here, let's remind ourselves of what happened on the floor on the day that bill was read for a second time.